And welcome to another Colin Crandall MMA breakdown. We are doing this for our team of MMA Professor UF Combat. We've got the amazing Aussie fight fan, Jason, and we're going to rock out a first look at UFC 302. And so we're going to do a quick one here, maybe only about 15 minutes or so, maybe 20. And why don't we start wherever you'd like to start, Jason? Bottom of the main, top of the main card, wherever. But you pick it and let's break it down.
Yeah, I guess we can start from the bottom of the main. We've got Randy Brown versus Elijah Zaleski, welterweight fight. Randy Brown 18-5 versus Zaleski with 24, 7-1. I guess the big difference when you look at this is the age. I guess 33 to 37, but when you look at fight years, Zaleski has kind of been through obviously taken more damage of the two, I believe. You got the height and reach advantage, both going to Randy Brown here, and probably blow through this one pretty quick. Randy Brown minus 155 favorite, coming back on Zaleski at let's just see, plus 130. Yeah, so I think definitely Brown has been a pretty busy fighter. You know, this is going to be his sixth fight in 2 years. He's been very active, whereas Zaleski really hasn't been, you know, as active. Yeah, definitely leaning towards Randy Brown here. There's not a ton to talk about. I think he matches up very. I think he beats him in every area here. So yeah, I think this is really a show spot for Randy Brown. I think Zaleski's going to have to do something pretty special here to be able to get the win. So at his current price at minus 155, I think that's a great spot and worth looking into.
Makes sense. Can you remind me of the last three opponents they both had and the results? Forgive me, everyone. I can't pull up reference sites for some reason on my computer.
Yeah. Well, Randy just got a knockout victory over Muslim Salikov. They've both fought Salikov actually. 10 months ago was Wellington Turman, where he got a unanimous decision. And then, of course, he lost to Jack Dalla by rear naked choke. That was over a year ago. And Zaleski, a draw in his last fight against Renat Fakhrutinov. Hard name to pronounce. Apologies to him if I got that wrong. I'm sure I did. And, of course, Abu Nurmagomedov. That was a split decision. You know, that was pretty close. And then, of course, Benoit Saint Denis, but that was 2.5 years ago. You know, that's how inactive he's kind of been as far as keeping up his activity. So 2.5 years ago, he actually won that decision against Benoit Saint Denis.
Right, gotcha, definitely. And I've always been a fan of the man they call Capoeira, Elezu Zaleski dos Santos. Very tough guy. He is getting a little bit older. He has been in a lot more wars than Randy Rude Boy Brown. I'm a big fan of Randy's though as well, and probably yeah. Youth lately, it seems like youth is being served 80% of the time for the most part. And but man, this is going to be a banger. I think you're not going to get Elezu Zaleski dos Santos out of a fight without you taking some damage. So I think this fight's going to be fired. I'm cheering for the older guy, as I always do, as an older guy myself. Probably on paper, it does look like Randy has the advantage. Youth is being served the majority of the time. So I don't think I get to the betting counter. But I think it's going to be a battle, and I think Zaleski dos Santos is not going to go down without a hell of a fight. So I do think that fight will possibly not go the distance, or so it's going to be a war. And so I can't even think of the proper bet there. But I'm cheering for the underdog. I think he's got a chance. I think it's going to be close. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah. So next one, we go heavyweight. We've got our man, Jailton Almeida versus Alexander Romanov, King Kong. Yeah, I mean, what can you say about this fight? This is two grapplers, no doubt about it. We got Almeida coming in at 240 last time, and obviously Romanov cuts to the 265 limit. Almeida, 32 years old, and Romanov surprisingly only 33. We got the last few. Oh, sorry, I'm not so good at this tail of the tape. Almeida actually coming in a little bit taller at 6'3". Romanov 6'2". 79-inch reach advantage for Gelton Almeida, and 75-inch reach advantage, reach for Romanov. So if we're looking at their past few performances, obviously it was only a couple of months ago. Almeida lost to Curtis Blades, in a fight where he was really running through Blades with those takedowns. About 6 months ago, Derek Lewis, everyone knows that fight. It was a bit of a stinker. He just kind of kept taking him down again and again. And about a year ago, submission win against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. And if we look at the other side, Romanov, his last fight 10 months ago against Blagoy Ivanov, just went to decision, wasn't a great fight. Before that, lost and just looked terrible against Alexander Romanov just over a year ago. Got TKO'd there, looked sloppy, didn't even land a punch in that fight, went 0 for 5 in takedowns, just terrible performance, and lost to Tybura before that. So I think this is a bounce back spot for Almeida here. He's minus 300. I think the price is really good. I mean, I had Curtis Blades in the last fight, but Almeida came out and I didn't think he was going to get one takedown. We broke that fight down, and everyone was saying they think Almeida, and I had Blades. I said, there's no way he's going to take Blades down. He took Blades down 9 times in 5 minutes. It was insane. He just totally out wrestled the much better wrestler, in my opinion. And unfortunately, kind of got caught in the second round. Well, fortunately for me, because I had Blades in that spot, but unfortunate for him. Whereas Romanov has not looked great lately. I was really high on this guy. I thought he was going to be a big deal in the heavyweight division, but a couple of stinking performances, man. I mean, that one against Alexander Volkov, I was still really high on Volkov there. Tybura. My God, I'm talking in. Sorry about that. I'm all over the place at the moment. Yeah, he looked terrible against Volkov. I had a massive bet on Romanov in that fight, and then seeing him at the weigh-ins, and I'm like, no way, I have to buy back the other side. I had to do a big buyback on Volkov and lost a bit of money on that fight. But in this matchup, man, you got to favor Almeida. If he can do anything close to what he did to Blades in that first round, it's going to be all over. Romanov's going to have no gas. If he has to get up 8 times, there's no chance. I don't think he's capable of it. So, yeah, I like Almeida here. I like the minus 300. I think it's a
Makes
good
sense.
parlay piece.
Yeah, and a parlay piece as well. It makes sense. Yeah, Romanov started out looking so good, and then it looks like he stopped eating his Vegemite or something. Something went wrong, or
Yeah.
someone cut his hair and took away his power. But, you know, this is probably kind of do or die for him at 33. He's got to show up here. I think he's going to show up, and it's going to be a tough go for Almeida, but Almeida should win this. I definitely lean for Almeida again. But, you know, if Romanov can return to form, he could be an interesting puzzle for the Brazilian for sure. But yeah, I would lean Almeida. All right,
Yeah.
next
I
up.
think he needs to get takedowns of his own, really, Romanov,
Yeah,
to do anything in this fight. And I just think that he's at such a grappling disadvantage when it does hit the mat as far as sweeps. And he can't even give Almeida an inch of space, or he's going to get up, or he's going to be able to do something off his back. And Romanov's gas tank, it's just not there. I think this is a get right spot for Almeida.
yeah. I kind of agree. Next up.
Yeah, next up we have Kevin Holland versus Michael Olendzejczyk. I'm sure I
Yeah,
got that one wrong. So
or like
apologies to him.
Chuck or Alexei Chuck or something. Yeah. Double tough guy.
Yeah.
Interesting
So
match. Give me the rundown on that. The past performances, less few, and then the size and record.
yeah, so of course we've got Kevin Holland. His last 3 performances, he lost a decision against Michael Venom Page. That was only 8 weeks ago or something like that. It wasn't long ago. His quick turnaround for him. Obviously, he didn't take a ton of damage. He wasn't finished. It went the distance. Before that, split decision, Jack Delameda. Again, another close fight, tough fight. Jack is a tough fight for everybody, but he went the distance with him. And then before that, he actually beat Michael Chesser with a Darce choke, which is kind of how Chesser kind of loses. Then we look the other side. Michael Olendzejczyk lost his last fight to Michelle Pereira by submission. We called that one on the show last time. We made a decent chuck of change off that. Before that, he won against Chidi Njokuani, KO ground and pound. look good there. I mean, that's how he always looks good when he manages to do something on the feet. And before that, lost to Kyle Borrallo, which again is a really top guy in this division. So they've both fought really decent competition. Betting odds, we've got Kevin Holland minus 250. I think that line's moved to be closer to minus 300 now. And you can get Olin J. Chuck plus 200, plus 220. The reach, we're looking at Kevin Holland 6'3", tall, sorry, height 6'3". Olin J. Chuck 6 foot. And the reach is the real surprising one here. So we've got Kevin Holland 81-inch reach versus Olin J. Chuck 64-inch reach. I don't know, man. I think Kevin Holland has him everywhere here. I think every stat favors Kevin Holland. I don't know where Michael Olajaychuk wins this fight outside of a one-hitter quitter. You know, he's got to land something big on the feet and knock Holland down, but Holland's tough. He's notoriously tough. And
Right.
I'd be surprised if he kind of gets tagged here. I think that's his fight to lose. He's coming off 2 losses. Did him a favor, that big Venom Page fight. Um, I don't know, man. I kind of lean him to win by sub, but his sub's only plus 270 or something like that. I was hoping to get plus 400. I'm probably not going to get to it at this spot. Maybe a late sub, pick around something like that. But I mean, if you're betting Michal here, I would just bet his KO line. I can't imagine him winning minutes, him winning a 3-round decision. I don't think he's going to beat Kevin Holland on the cards for 2 rounds. So just get that extra bit of money on your ticket and bet the KO. But otherwise, yeah, I like Holland here at minus 300. He's another good parlay piece.
Yeah. Now, notable in this fight is this is Kevin Holland's return to middleweight after a few years at welterweight. And he cut a lot of weight there. So he probably, I think, may have been a bit compromised at that weight. But he is coming back up to face, heavier opponents here, although he's a taller fighter for sure. I like Kevin. He's a great guy. I've interviewed him several times, and I've talked to one of his training partners and manager, Justin Adams, who's another Travis Mutter black belt, which I think Kevin Holland is now, I believe. And which black belt behind me, which I am not yet, but maybe one day, if not this night, but we're working on brown maybe at some point. So yeah, I think Kevin wins this. Alexei Chuck is a tough guy though, very, very, very hard puncher. But I think this will be a successful return 185 for the Trailblazer Kevin Holland.
Yeah, you made a really good point actually. Him moving up to middleweight, I think Olin Jacek should have spent his whole career at welterweight. To be honest, he's not a big, strong guy. He's not coming in there totally ripped like you're going to see Holland.
No, and it's funny.
So, yeah, I think you're right. I think Holland will be the biggest, stronger guy in there too.
Yeah, and it's funny. Alexei Chuck was even a light heavyweight for a fighter too. Definitely undersized.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this will be an interesting one though. Also, should be competitive. Both guys are bombers, so we're going to see some fire, a little bit of firefight for sure. At least while it lasts. All right, next up, which is going to be what, co-main or is this the main?
Yeah, co-main. So we've got Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa. Strickland coming in 28-6. Paulo Costa 14-3. We look at their last 3 fights. We got obviously Sean Strickland losing to Dricus. That was about 4 months ago now. Before that, obviously he beat Adesanya in Australia. It was just insane fight. Almost knocked him out in that first round. It was unbelievable. Got the decision victory there, and before that, against Abus Magomedov, we've seen his forward pressure there was enough to get Abus out of there. And on the other side, of course, Paulo Costa, 3 months ago against Robert Whittaker, lost a unanimous decision there, but man, he spinning wheel kicked my boy Rob. Almost got the knockout there. If that had been a few more seconds in the round, he might have actually got the finish against Rob there, which would have been incredible for him. Before that, a year and 8 months ago, against Luke Rockhold. That's crazy. That fight was so long ago. He's been really inactive, but he got the unanimous decision win there. And before that, 2.5 years ago against Marvin Vettori. So that's just how inactive Costa's been. A lot of issues with contracts and all that kind of behind the scenes. But he's only 33 years old. Strickland 33 years old. You look at the height, both 6'1", reach 4-inch reach advantage for Strickland, but these guys you wouldn't know to look at them, but they're in the same weight class. Man, Paulo Costa's huge. Um, One line I do kind of, I'll just cut straight to it. I kind of like Paulo Costa here at this plus 175. I think this fight's going to be close. I think there's going to be at least one round where everyone's saying who the hell won that round. Um, I think we're going to see Strickland come out. Obviously, he's going to be the one landing the more volume, but I think we're going to see Costa landing the bigger shots. I think he's going to be the one snapping the head back. You know, even when he misses, he's going to be throwing those big looping shots that has everyone in the crowd going, whoa, whoa. You know, that sways the judges sometimes. Um, you know, if you're looking at, you know, gun to the head, who's going to win? Yeah, I'd say Strickland. But at the price, plus 175, I like Costa. And I like Costa decision at plus 800. I think that's just a line you kind of have to play. I do think it goes the distance. And if you're giving me one guy plus 800, like if you're waiting for the judges to call out this fight and you're holding that plus 800, plus 800 ticket, you're going to be feeling a lot better than holding a Strickland ticket. And I'll also wait for the lines to come out for this fight to end in split decision. And Costa split is probably going to be really good. I mean, you could be looking at 20 to 1, something higher than that. So I'm definitely going to be looking out for those two lines.
Excellent. Great analysis as always, Jason. Really, really good. Really, both really good fighters. I interviewed Paulo Costa in person twice a few years ago for MMA Power Hour. Power Hour, really, really good guy. A lot of the heel stuff is, I think, not genuine. He's a really good kid. And he's a talented guy. The jiu-jitsu goes in favor of Costa. The wrestling is in favor of Strickland, and the striking is pretty even, albeit a very different style. A much more traditional striking for Strickland. I think Strickland may actually be a half-inch taller or three-quarters inch taller, but not a huge difference. Apparently, the tail of the tape shows not exactly the same height. But nonetheless, it's going to be a very interesting fight. I think it's going to be fun. It's not really going to be too many dull moments, although maybe a couple. And I think there definitely is value on Costa. It'll be interesting to see if some grappling is be very interesting. I think both these guys are our guys are good everywhere, but they both like to end up keeping other people. That's going to be really interesting to see what the transitions look like and if they're on the ground and who has the upper hand. So yeah, I think there's definitely value on Costa. It's so hard to know what's going to happen, but the winner I think would be next in line for a title shot, or next after. But I would think perhaps even next up. So that'll be a really interesting fight. And I'm anxious to see a good addition to this already pretty darn good card. And next up would be the main event of the evening. We are live. It's time. Take it away, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching this show, if you're watching us talk, you know exactly who these two guys are in the main event. Islam versus Poirier. This is a Poirier just kind of found himself in this spot. I'm happy for this guy. Um, we look at the stats here. We've got Islam, the younger guy, at 32, Dustin 35. Height 5'10" for Islam, 5'9" for Dustin. Uh, Reach 70-inch for Makachev, and we've got a 3-inch reach advantage for Poirier. We look at their last three fights. Obviously, we've got the champion here, beat my man Volkanovski, really upsetting. He got it done quick, head kick and then some ground and pound. Before that, Volkanovski again, just picking on us Australians, man. And then before that, Charles Oliveira actually submitted the submission expert there. Just an unbelievable record. Islam's on a run, man. Poirier, on the other hand, just beat Saint Denis. No one picked him there. You know, no one picked him against Saint Denis. He came out and he really, really did good. His cardio was the weapon there. Saint Denis just couldn't keep up with the veteran in Poirier. Before that, lost to Gage. He got knocked out. And, you know, no one was really thinking of him in the title shot after that. Like, it seemed like his chance was gone. And then before that, he beat Michael Chandler, got him into submission, which is what everyone's talking about in this fight. Everyone's talking about the guillotine for Poirier. We know Danny is big on it. Danny's all over the Poirier guillotine. Yes. And I had a little stab at myself. Why not? You got Poirier submission at 20 to 1. You know, whether you bet $5 to win 100 or 50 to win 1,000. Yeah, why not play it? It's going to be the one where if he does manage to get it, your whole timeline's going to be full of people that had the Poirier sub. Um, but Makachev's probably going to get it done here. He's like minus 600 money line or something. I can't blame people for chucking it in a parlay. One thing I do recommend anybody, if you have access to books that have same game parlay, really look into it because I got Makachev to get one takedown and to win at minus 200. And I think that's just crazy. I don't see him winning without getting at least one takedown. Um, and on the other side, Poirier, yeah, I just got a little bit of him on submission, but obviously Makachev to win by sub is plus 115. That seems to be what everybody's assuming happens. He's going to take Dustin down and submit him. But don't get greedy. Just if you think that's what's going to happen, don't bet Islam sub. Just bet either guy by sub, and it's only 10 cents difference. Um, and then you get all that submission guillotine equity from Dustin Poirier. So yeah, that's where I'm leaning in this fight. I've got fight ends in sub. I've also got Poirier sub and some Makachev to win and get a takedown.
Love it. Good stuff. We want to wrap this up in 2 minutes so we can at least have a couple of minutes before there are X spaces coming up. But when you guys see this, that may already be over. But check us out on X for our great spaces. Yeah, I'm leaning Makhachev as well. I love Dustin Poirier. I think he's a good chance of winning. I don't know about the sub. Maybe I could almost maybe see him catching him something on the feet, but that's going to be tough. Yeah, I lean Makhachev here, although I think it's going to be a great fight. And probably if Dustin won and had that title, it would be great. He's a good guy. I've interviewed him in person a couple of times. And but definitely always respect the guys over at AKA under the great tutelage of Javier Mendez, who we just interviewed a month or so ago. And I've interviewed him several times. A great guy, an amazing coach, great team, AKA. Anyway, I will let you say your last couple of words, whatever you want to say, and then let me wrap it up. We'll be out of here in a minute.
Yeah, just give us a follow at UF Combat. That's Ultimate Force Combat. We've got a good Discord going. If anybody wants to join, just give us a follow on there, and we can add you at your request. And yeah, hopefully, everybody makes some money on these fights. Come join us at Spaces. Just follow us like Colin. Follow Colin Crandall. Follow me, and UF Combat. We'll let you know when the Spaces are coming up. Everyone's welcome to jump in and grab a mic, and yeah, give us your opinions.
Absolutely. And as I used to say at MMA Power Hour, appreciate you guys watching. And for tonight, I am tapping out. See you in a few minutes, Jason. Peace.